Hi, I'm Dr. Bonnie Maitland, and I'm a partner with Optimum Impact Coaching. In our work over the past decade with hundreds of leaders, we've been led to this area of leadership presence. A lot of people say, what is leadership presence? You hear so much about it today. And for many people, it's hard to describe, but you know it when you see it. So perhaps one way I could share it with you is to tell a story about Anna Marie, someone who I worked with around this area of presence. If you were to see Anna Marie 3 to 5 years ago, you would have found a brilliant researcher, someone who was deep in her field, patents to her name, known globally for the work that she did. And you would see someone who really lacked confidence. And while she thought she collaborated effectively, other people would say no, she did not. She aspired to be at this top level of research within her organization, and she had missed that mark a couple of times. So she was given the opportunity to have a coach. So our work really did look at this area of presence, and over the course of time, we found that she not only had great confidence, she continued to be a brilliant researcher, and she also learned to collaborate and develop deep relationships. And most importantly for her, she was able to achieve that high level of distinction that she wanted in her institution. We know, research tells us, our work with our many leaders tells us, that when you have leadership presence, you are much more likely to achieve your goals, to advance in the organization, and to have more impact and influence with others. So, how do you go about acquiring leadership presence? Would like to share with you the framework that we used with Anna Marie and that we've used with many, many other leaders. And it's a pretty simple framework that starts on the inside and builds to the outside. And so 5 different dimensions that I'll share with you and then give you a little bit of information about each one. At the core is know myself. Who am I? What are my skills and capabilities? How do I do the things that come most naturally to me? I build on my personal strengths. I know my values. I'm comfortable with who I am, comfortable in my skin. All of that is key and foundational to presence. And then we move out into a second area of do what matters most, and then present with intention, then develop key relationships, strategically develop relationships, and finally manage my image. So again, it builds from the inside out, and when you get to the outside, managing my image comes pretty naturally. So let me just share with you a little bit about each of the dimensions, and you can imagine there's quite a bit of additional insights and information that goes under each one. So we talked about know myself. It's that core area. It is me being congruent with what I like to do, knowing who I am, having that confidence, and that competence then follows. So know myself. The next area out is do what matters most. I don't know about you, but I find that I spend a lot of time doing things that aren't really important. And I stop myself and say, wait a minute, I only have a certain amount of time. I need to really be intentional about the work that I do. I need to do what matters most. And that includes aligning what my gifts are, what my talents are, with the work that is available to me, making sure that I am being choiceful about those things that I'm doing. Most of us find that we're comfortable in certain situations. Part of knowing myself is finding those opportunities to be in those situations. I think others of us know what it is that we would really like to do. And some of us follow things that other people tell us we should do, or we feel like we should do, rather than what really comes more naturally to us. So in the second dimension, there's time spent on, what are those areas that matter most to me, and how do I make those choices and remain intentional about doing that. The third area, presenting myself with intention, really has 2 parts to it. One part is to present with interest, with inspiration, with confidence, whether it's in a meeting that I'm in or it's a full conference or presentation. And it's being able to do that with comfort and competence. And the second part of it is to know about the communication process. Is the message that I've given to you the one that you received, or is there a breakdown? A lot of times we don't pay attention to whether our message really got through. So that's a whole second area in presenting with intention. Assertive communication, as you can imagine, is a good part of that because how I say what I say is critically important. And that certainly enters into this fourth area that we talk about, strategically building relationships. How am I building relationships? Am I assertive in those relationships so I'm building trust and rapport? Am I focusing on the right relationships? There are a lot of people I can spend time with. Am I spending time with people who can help me learn, with people who can help me connect in the ways that I want to in my work, the people that I want to be generous with and to help develop? So again, just as there's only a certain amount of time to do what matters most to me, there's also a certain amount of time to develop relationships. And I need to think about those relationships that are most important and be strategic in building those relationships. This final area is managing my image. And as you can see, if I know myself, if I do what really matters, if I'm presenting myself with intention, if I'm strategically developing relationships, this part about managing my image will come naturally. People will experience me as genuine, as congruent, and I will have, a level of confidence when I'm able to present, when I build from the inside out. So as you can see, the model is linked together. There's an awful lot of information that goes into each of those. We've certainly spent a lot of time in research and in conversations with leaders, and we've learned those characteristics, those personal qualities that help an individual really achieve a level of presence that they're comfortable with and that draws other people to them. I think you've probably all been someplace where a person walks into the room and all eyes go there. It's a person who you want to move toward, a person that is of interest. And I would say that's a person who has leadership presence. It's something we all have the capacity to have. It isn't something that you are naturally born with, although some people seem to be born with a certain amount of it. It is something that we all have the capacity to develop. So we hope that we've given you a little insight into the work that we do and some of what we've learned about this important area of leadership presence. Love to get into further conversation with you. You can find us on our website, Optimum Impact Coaching, or you can find us in LinkedIn. Have a great day.